So I just think there's something really magical about watching the long road.
Suddenly I'm watching archery. Why? I don't know. Because now I'm interested.
He knows the city better than any of us.
Yes, he's our tour guide.
Yeah.
We are anchoring the Today Show at the Olympics, and we are cheerleaders for Team USA.
Yes, amen. That's exactly what we do. Savannah and I will also be at the opening ceremony, which will be a lot of fun. And we are objective journalists all the other times except for at the Olympic Games. So we'll have our pom-poms out.
I think we are going to be on a natural high for 3 weeks because we're so excited about the Olympics. We're so excited they're in Paris. And let's not forget the time change is working for the Today Show.
We are pumped.
Instead of being morning people, we get to go on the air at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which I call
coffee. We got rosé.
Yeah, rosé o'clock.
Every time an athlete comes on our set, it's like TNT, man. So I feel like the athletes bring it. They come and they bring all the energy and we're just the receivers of it. We're going to be juiced up the whole time.
Plus, we've got, I don't think you want to say that with
Yes,
athletes.
well, you know what I mean.
Well, we're allowed to juice.
And plus, we're going to have Americans right at our set, but on our Today Show Plaza in Paris. So that's going to be exciting as well.
Yeah.
Those folks waving flags, holding the sign.
Yeah.
It's impossible to drag when you're at the world's
can't.
greatest sporting event in one of the world's greatest cities. I think we just try to learn about the sport as much as we can. And really for the Today Show, learning the stories of the athletes.
Yeah.
That's what the heart of the Olympics is. And I think that's what we love, shining a light on this moment that these athletes, they've worked so hard to be here. This is their moment. And I think we try to lean into their personal stories and their families, much more than learning stats or learning how any particular sport is played.
That's really what it's all about. I think once you know them and there's a real connection that's beyond athlete and reporter, it's like we get to know them on a much more personal level.
And some of the athletes, keep in mind, like Katie Ledecky and Simone Biles, and I mean, they've been around for so long. Like, we've known them. We've seen them
Grow up.
Watched them grow up.
I feel like I'm training like an athlete because I'm going to be eating about 30,000 calories a day. I'm ready.
For me, the hardest part is you watch some of these athletes who've been preparing, literally, in some cases, almost their entire lives. And their parents who've been, taking them to these practices day in, day out, and they've watched them from the stands for years. And you know how hard they've worked to get to this moment. And in the flash of a second, it didn't go their way. It didn't break their way. And to see not just their anguish, but to watch like the family and friends who've traveled to Paris to see them, and they don't get it like you feel that, like here. So that's always for me the hardest part.
It's 1,000 times better. Because you know why? It's all good. Win, lose, it's all good. And I think we're just thirsty for that. You know what I mean? We're thirsty for that. And I feel like it takes you to a place, you're almost in a bubble for a little while, where the biggest story in the world is whether or not someone won the 100 meters. Just for that moment. It puts a pause on life kind of for a second, lets you exhale, and it brings people together. And I feel like this is the perfect time for it right now.
I think on our show, we're always looking for inspiration, but sometimes the news is hard and it's hard to find the light. When we're covering the Olympics, it is not hard to find light. It is not hard to find inspiration and joy. It's right there. And so I think that's why we love being there so much. Covering the Olympics is almost pure joy.
And the bonus also is that we actually get to hang out.
Look at them as people and not athletes only. And I think in the past, when I was covering them a long time ago, I think I saw the athlete and the training and the hours. And all of a sudden, when you look at them, you realize they're just young kids who dreamt of this great day. And I think it's looking at them as a full person, because the interviews end up being so much better, because athletes are often trained to speak a certain way. And when you realize, let's get out of that. I mean, that's interesting, but let's go here. Let's go to where something's real. And when you really express yourselves, and they're also very expressive. Most of the athletes we speak to, they know exactly who they are. They like to have fun. They realize it's a big deal, but they also want to, be sort of relaxed in that way. I think I learned about interviewing in a better way there, instead of sticking to the numbers kind of thing.
By the way, nobody has earned the trust of, especially the gymnastics team, than this person, because they know they're in a safe space, that somebody who loves them who is as enthusiastic, in fact, if not some ways more.
It's kind of weird. It's like there's a stalker problem going on here, but
there are some.
Hoda's the den mother for the USA Gymnastics.
They're sweet girls, and I think, it's so funny. Those videos that show up on your phone that say whatever? I had one that showed up that was a Simone one, weirdly. And I looked at it, and it was from her Olympics in Rio with Zac Efron, and it went through all of these just because I had saved pictures, and it went through until today. And I looked at it, and I sent it to her mother because and I wrote to Nellie, I go, oh my gosh, your girl, and I sent it to her, and she wrote, baby Simone, I can't wait for Paris. And I was like, it just, you do see them when they were young and vulnerable and afraid, and when they go through different phases of life. And now here she is, 27 years old. And she's like, here I go, I'm doing it again. So I just think there's something really magical about watching the long road.
The Olympics they're a special moment in time. And I think that if you may find that you fell in love with an athlete or a sport that you didn't expect, and that happens to us every single time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, who knew that we would love curling? Right. It's like suddenly I'm watching archery. Right. Why? I don't know. Because now I'm interested, or track and field. And I think that's what's fun. It's like learning these stories of the athletes and looking at them and just thinking for just the humanity of it. It's like every single person has fought probably their entire lives to be in that moment. And just to respect and love that and feel joy with that, I think that it's contagious. So I hope people will watch with us, because that's definitely what we're feeling.